Darth Vader is one of the most revered and feared badasses in movie history. He's like if Voldemort and Samurai Jack had a Terminator baby. So isn't it a bit anticlimactic that the galaxy's most famous Sith Lord essentially dies of a wardrobe malfunction? Am I really supposed to believe that Darth Vader has never encountered lightning before? You know what else is weak against electricity?
This theory, originally thought of by my friend Ryan Curry and expounded upon by yours truly, seeks to uncover the truth behind Vader's demise while also revealing his tragic existence as a slave to forces outside of his control. But to do that, we've got to go all the way back to when Vader turned to the dark side in the first place.
The birth of Vader is actually very similar to his death. Both times he's presented with a very clear option of dark versus light. His creation is a result of him saving Darth Sidious, and his death is a result of him killing Sidious. Both deaths in these scenes symbolize the fall of the light side and then the fall of the dark, finally fulfilling the prophecy of Anakin bringing balance to the Force. So it's only fitting that his entire motivation for becoming Darth Vader in the first place is because he was trying to upset that balance.
Darth Plagueis had such a knowledge of the dark side, he could even keep the ones he cared about from dying.
Anakin saw visions of his mother dying and was powerless to stop it, suggesting that her death was the will of the Force. So when he had these same visions about Padme, he chose to defy the Force by sacrificing everything he cared about to learn this power. So isn't it strange that he never learns it? Not once in the entire saga do we see Anakin or Darth Vader use the Force to keep somebody alive. Isn't it strange that the only time we see this power in action is when Darth Sidious uses it on Anakin? Here's the critical part of this theory. The details of how this power works is never fully explained. The common assumption seems to be that Vader's salvation by Sidious at the end of Revenge of the Sith was a temporary pick-me-up until his life support suit was ready to take over. But there's really no reason to think that this power only works in the short term. In fact, it would be really stupid if it did. What good would it be to Anakin to only be able to keep Padme alive while he's directly near her? What if he's 12 star systems away, which he always is? What if, after this initial moment of connection, Sidious is forced to use his master's power to keep Vader alive for the rest of his life, all the way from episode 3 to episode 6. In other words, Darth Vader's heart is literally beating with the dark side of the Force. Yes, I think his suit helps him breathe and keeps him mobile, but I think that the Emperor is the one who's forcibly forbidding his life force from leaving him. But why would a Dark Lord of the Sith try so hard to keep Vader alive? He certainly had a totally different reaction when his last apprentice was on death's door.
Do it.
Is the only time Sidious ever tries to save someone else's life in the entire franchise. And I think it's because, well,
I am your father.
It's a pretty well-established fan theory that Sidious also used Plagueis' power to create Anakin in the first place.
There was no father. I carried him, I gave birth, I raised him. I can't explain what happened.
Darth Plagueis was a Dark Lord of the Sith, so powerful and so wise, he could use the Force to influence the midi-chlorians to create life.
I think Sidious saves Vader, maybe not so much for love, but out of a twisted sense of legacy, which is why he only seems willing to cast Vader aside in favor of Luke, who is also kind of his grandson. More importantly, Sidious uses his power to keep Vader alive because that ensures his absolute control over Vader. Sith apprentices are notorious for turning on their masters, and Vader has every reason to do so. The whole point of Anakin turning to the dark side in the first place was to save Padme, who basically dies the next day. Wouldn't Vader quickly realize, my life really started sucking after I joined the Emperor, I should leave or kill him? He can't leave, because the Emperor is the only person in the galaxy who knows how to keep him alive. He's enslaved to his master, just like when he was a little kid on Tatooine. This theory also explains why Vader is so pumped for Luke to turn to the dark side. The power works on, quote, the ones you care about, but you can't use it on yourself.
It's ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself.
If Luke can learn Plagueis' power, Vader will be free to kill the Emperor at last. And, this.
And together we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
Of course, Luke rejects this offer and ultimately tries to get Vader to convert back to the light. And what is Vader's reaction to this?
It is too late for me, son.
That's because if he turns back to the light, he'll die, which he totally does. This dramatically increases the stakes for Vader's decision to finally break free of his master. Not only is he choosing to save his son, but Vader is also killing the only man in the galaxy who's capable of keeping him alive. Watch his death scene again. He's not gasping for air or suffocating because his suit is fried. He's just fading away. By the end of Return of the Jedi, Anakin Skywalker finally learns how to let go and embrace the inevitability of death, even though this time it's his own. And by finding this balance between life and death, or some might say light and dark, he also finally finds peace.